Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. They laughed at our primitive ships. Now we control the cosmic throne. On the edge of human space lay Sindarine, a dying world of rust and ruin. Once a mining colony, it had long since been abandoned by the great powers of the galaxy. Now its skies were filled not with clouds but with smoke from countless salvage forges that glowed late into the ash-choked night. Here, humanity eked out an existence by salvaging wrecks of starships that drifted down from the trade lanes above. The off-world empires scorned Cindy. They called its people space rats and paid no mind to the planet's ragged settlements. No great merchant prince came to build factories here. No grand fleet arrived to offer aid. Yet, on Cindy, there was a fierce pride in survival. Every day, teams of scavengers combed the broken hulls and dead corridors of crashed vessels, searching for anything of value. Chief among those scavengers was Mara Jin. She had grown up in the flat-top towers of new forges, learning how to spot a hidden conduit or a buried power cell. Mara knew the planet's secrets better than anyone. She could tell at a glance whether a buried fragment was common steel or something far more precious. She led her small crew in battered exosuits across the red dust plains, always pushing farther into the wastelands. One evening, as the twin suns set behind distant spires of rust, Mara's metal detector gave its sharpest beep yet. The others had drifted back to camp. Only Mara remained kneeling in the dusty soil. She cleared away the ash with her gloved hands and saw it, a half-buried engine core unlike anything she had seen before. Its surface was smooth and iridescent, shimmering with faint pulses of blue light. Strange markings curled along its length. Mara's heart pounded. She called her engineers from their nearby workshop. When they arrived, they wore their stained overalls and carried data pads. They examined the core with curious frowns. "Worthless scrap," one engineer said, tapping the metal with a wrench. "No shape fits our designs. It's junk." Another ran a scan. "No reading on any galactic database. It is alien, but no power here." Mara held up a hand. "You don't see what I see. This is no ordinary engine. Look at the pulses. It's alive. It just needs to wake up." The engineers exchanged uneasy glances. The forge manager, an older man named Corbin, stepped forward. "Mara," he said in a low voice, "we need parts, we know. We need steel wires, coils, real scrap we can sell. We can't waste time on fairy tales." Mara's eyes flashed. "Fairy tales? You think the rest of the galaxy ignored us for nothing? This engine core is our only hope. If we can get it running, we can build ships that leave this rock forever." Corbin shook his head. "They call us space rats for a reason. We live on scrap. We die on scrap. Move on, child." He turned and stomped back to the workshop. That night, Mara lay awake in her bunk. The dusty wind howled outside, and the glow of distant forges lit the sky like a red dawn. She could not sleep. The engine core pulsed in her bag, warm against her side. It felt alive. It felt full of promise. By dawn, Mara was back at the dig site. She worked quickly, using a plasma torch to free the core from the rock. Sparks flew, and the core's glow brightened. She loaded it onto her hover sled and raced back to the workshop. The other salvagers gathered, curious. Mara climbed onto a crate and held the core high. "Listen," she called. "We survive on scraps from other worlds. We build our lives from pieces no one else wants. But what if we could build something new? What if this core gives us power we never dreamed of?" Some faces in the crowd softened, others hardened. A young apprentice named Laura stepped forward. "Teach me," she said quietly. "I want to learn." Mara smiled and nodded. She turned to Corbin. "We have work to do. Prepare your best tools. Tonight, we begin. Corbin's jaw clenched. He met Mara's determined gaze, then gave a slow nod. He turned to the engineers. Fine. But if this fails, we go back to scrap. A new dawn, Mara whispered. Corbin exhaled slowly. Our only hope. And so, on the scrap world of Sindarine, humanity's first true step toward the stars began, not with money or armies, but with the spark of a single alien engine core found in the ruins of worthless scrap. The glow of the alien engine core lit up the workshop on Cinder 9. As the team worked through another long night, Mara Jin and her engineers had managed to channel its power into a compact fusion array. Now they faced the next challenge: build a ship to use that energy. They called it Rustok, a small scout vessel made almost entirely from junk metal, scrap wiring, and the glowing core at its heart. Rustok's frame was welded from old cargo pallets and plasma-hardened girders. Its engines were scavenged thrusters, reinforced with alien conduits. A single cockpit held space for a pilot and enough life support to cross the nearby asteroid belt. Mara stood back with pride as she watched the final tests. Sensors flickered to life. Power flowed through the conduits in neat arcs. On the control panel, lights blinked green. Systems ready, said Joro, the lead engineer, wiping ash from his brow. Ready for her maiden voyage? Mara asked. Let's prove this core is more than scrap, she replied. Launch into the night. Under the red dusk sky, Rustok rested on a battered launch pad. A small crowd of scavengers gathered, men, women, and children in oil-stained overalls. No grand ceremony, only hushed excitement. Mara climbed into the cockpit, her helmet's visor reflecting the core's glow. Systems green. Flight controls active, Mara spoke into the comm link. Jero, you have the watch, Mara said. Jero radioed back, his voice steady despite his nerves. All decks clear. You are go for launch. With a low hum, Rustok's engines powered up. The core's pulses quickened. A plume of blue flame burst from the thrusters. The ship shuddered and lifted. It rose above the forges. It rose above the ashfields. It flew into the purple night. Below, the crowd cheered. It was the first time any of them had seen a ship built by their own hands climb into the sky. A flight beyond the belt. Rustok darted through the asteroid belt. Its small size let it weave between tumbling rocks. Sensors pinged constantly. The core kept the shields humming enough to deflect small debris. Mara steered with calm focus. She tested every control, thrusters, energy converters, navigation arrays. When she felt confident, she pointed Rustok toward open space. She opened a secure channel to Cinder 9. Rustok to base. All systems stable, logging data for analysis, her voice crackled back through static. Copy that. Welcome home, Rustok. Mara allowed herself a small smile. She was making history. The pirate ambush. But news of Rustok spread fast. Near Sind, the Ironclaw gang, a ruthless band of space pirates, heard rumors of a new human ship. They smelled opportunity. Late that same night, as Rustok approached a refueling station in orbit, alarms blared. A larger pirate vessel cloaked above her. Red engines flared. Mass drivers powered up. Mara's heart raced. She had no heavy weapons on Rustok, only speed. She flipped a switch to engage the core's emergency overdrive. The ship jolted as power surged to the engines. She shot forward, dodging a hail of ion bolts. Each shot scorched rust away from her hull. Sparks flew below. The pirate ship opened fire with a broadside. A plasma salvo hammered into the starboard wing. Warning lights flashed. Systems glitched. Mara gripped the controls. I need more speed. She tapped the core's limiter, risking overload. The engine roared. Rustok leaped ahead like a wounded bird. Escape and data capture. Despite the damage, Rustok streaked away. The pirates gave chase, but Mara had a plan. She dove into a dense nebula, clouds of metallic dust that scrambled sensors. The pirate ship struggled to maintain lock. Its plasma cannons misfired. Using the nebula's cover, Mara activated her own hacking module. She linked into the pirates' comm signal, snatching navigation data and cargo manifests. Her screen filled with codes, ship IDs, weapon specs, hidden waypoints. She smiled through her visor. Got you. Then, she punched the thrusters, breaking free of the nebula. Behind her, the pirates cursed as they emerged empty-handed. Return to Cindy. When Rustok touched down on the dusty pad, the forges erupted in celebration. Engineers rushed forward to examine the stolen data. Mara tumbled out of the cockpit, exhausted but triumphant. She held up her data pad. Look at this, she said. Pirate routes, secret caches, weak points in their shields. Jero's eyes widened. With this, we can hit them first. We can protect our world. Mara nodded. And show the galaxy that Cinder 9 is more than scrap. The galaxy whispers. News of Rustok's flight and the pirate ambush spread beyond scrap worlds. In nearby systems, smugglers reconsidered their courses. In distant empires, council members raised brows and spoke in hushed tones. They fly on junk. They steal our secrets. They might be the next power in the stars. Up on Cindy, Mara looked toward the dark sky. Rustok's engine core still glowed softly in the workshop. It was no longer just an engine. It was a symbol of hope and of warning. For in the universe of emperors and warlords, the space rats of Cindy had built a weapon from scrap. And soon, everyone would know their name. Cindy's forges never cooled. By day and night, hammers rang and furnaces glowed. Human hands turned scrap into shields, thrusters, and hull plates. From the wrecks of ancient starliners and broken freighters, they built more than tools, they built hope. At the heart of this effort was Mara Jin. She stood on a raised platform in the largest forge, watching sparks dance around her. Before her lay a growing armada, dozens of small ships, each different, each cobbled together from Cinderine's finest salvage. They called it the Scavenger Armada, a growing fleet. Each vessel had a story. The Iron Raven, a swift scout ship, wore armor from a downed military transport. The Ashok, a heavy gunship, carried paired plasma cannons from a burned-out pirate raider. The Twilight Moth, a stealth freighter, hid behind warped heat shields made of reactor plates. And at the center of it all sat Rustok, Mara's prototype, its alien engine core glowing soft blue in the dock. Mara turned to her crew. We have strength in scrap. We have courage in steel. Tonight, we fight. The pirate convoy. Word reached Cinderine that a Dreadclaw convoy, a notorious criminal fleet, would pass nearby, carrying stolen relics and high-value tech. The convoy had 6 sleek ships, backed by fighter escorts. It was fun for the pirates. They moved fast, struck hard, and vanished without a trace. But Cinder 9 would not vanish. Mara assembled 40 ships of the Scavenger Armada. Pilots, engineers, scavengers turned soldiers, all stood ready under the forge lights. Remember, Mara said, her voice steady. They think scrap can't hurt them. We show them they're wrong. Ambush in Black Hollow. The convoy route ran through an asteroid field known as Black Hollow, a maze of rocky spires and floating debris, perfect for an ambush. At the edge of the field, the Armada's ships went silent. Engines cooled to near zero. Radar reflectors were jettisoned. Heat-dampening fields flickered on. In the gloom, they waited. When the Dreadclaw escort slipped between 2 limestones, the ambush began. Rustok fired first, a burst of blue-white plasma that cut through a fighter's shield. The escort went down in seconds. Then Ash Hawk and Iron Raven struck in unison. Blinding flares and pulsed lasers tore open the pirate ship's hull. In the chaos, the rest of the armada swarmed. The pirates scrambled, but the scavengers knew every rock, every tunnel, every blind spot. Within 20 minutes, all 6 convoy ships lay dead or drifting. Salvage and victory. Mara led a landing team to board the largest ship, the Dreadclaw Goliath. Its corridors were slick with alien blood and sparking wires. Mara moved fast, cutting control panels and hauling data drives. They won't know what hit them, she said, uploading stolen star charts and weapon blueprints. Soon, the salvage crews arrived, stripping the hull for parts, advanced thrusters, energy capacitors, even intact fusion cells. Everything was loaded onto transport skiffs. Back in orbit, the scavenger armada regrouped, cargo holds packed with pirate tech. The ships gleamed under Cinder 9's twin suns. Mara raised a hand. "We are no longer rats," she said. "We are an army." A scout from afar. News of the ambush spread beyond Cindy. On an Archina Union command ship, Admiral Reen watched reports with a frown. "They grow bold," he muttered. "We must observe." Reland dispatched a scout vessel to Cinder 9. It would watch the scavenger armada. It would report on humanity's new power. But on Cinder, Mara did not wait for permission. She prepared her fleet for the next step, to prove to the galaxy that scrap could command. Starlane's building strength. In the days that followed, Cinder's forges worked faster than ever. Pirate hull plates became Nova shell armor. Stolen freighter drives became warp jumpers. Alien sensors became battlefield scanners. Every piece of scrap told a story of victory. Every spark from the hammers rang with defiance. Mara walked among her people, her heart lifted by their courage. "We are more than survivors," she told them. "We are creators. We are warriors. Soon, we will be legends." The galaxy takes note. Across the star lanes, rumors flew. "Did you see that scrap fleet? They destroyed a pirate convoy with jumbled parts. They build ships out of junk, and they win." In council halls, ambassadors whispered. "Cinder 9 has become a power. We must decide, ally or enemy." On Cindy, Mara stood on a cliff overlooking the scrapyards. Rustok lifted off in the sky, its engine core shining bright. She smiled and whispered, "They mocked our scrap. Soon, they will bow to it." The scavenger armada slipped into the asteroid field called Black Hollow just before dawn. Endless chunks of rock, metal wreckage, and floating debris formed a maze beneath dim light. It was the perfect place for an ambush. Commander Merigen's voice came over the comm link in a calm tone. "Positions, engines off, heat dampers on. Wait for my mark. Setting the trap." Rustok drifted into the center of a narrow canyon. Its alien engine core glowed faint blue. Around her, 20 armada ships, Iron Ravens, Ash Hawks, and Twilight Moths, held silent orbit. No engines flared. No radars pinged. The only movement was the soft spin of drones tucked behind asteroids. Mara watched her scanner. She saw the Dreadclaw convoy approach in formation. 6 sleek freighters, each bristling with weapon turrets, escorted by squads of fighter drones. They slid past broken starship hulks as if through a garden path. The signal. Mara's voice sounded again, now. Instantly, a burst of electromagnetic pulses rippled through Black Hollow. The asteroid field lit up with silent flashes as the Armada's EMP devices activated. The convoy's shields flickered and died. Engines sputtered. Fighter drones lost power, tumbling into the rocks. In the sudden quiet, the Armada reactivated engines at low power. Ships slipped forward like ghosts. Strike of the Rustok. Rustok led the charge. It dove toward the trailing freighter. Plasma thrusters burning cold blue. Mara fired a precision blast at the ship's main bridge, cutting off its communications array. The freighter spun dead in space, unable to call for backup. Behind Rustok, Iron Ravens and Ash Hawks struck. Pulse lasers cut rocket fuel lines. Plasma flails shredded weapon mounts. The convoy's fighters tried to regroup, but they flew blind and slow. Chaos in the darkness. The Dreadclaw commander, a tall pirate named Vtar, barked orders over broken comms. Repel them. Fire at will. But his crew could not aim. Their sensors lay dark. Meanwhile, scavenger drones deployed. Small spider-like bots with cutting lasers. They crawled across the freighter's hulls, slicing control cables and opening airlocks. Alarm klaxons blared inside the convoy ships, but no one could hear over the roaring engines. Boarding the prize. Mara targeted the largest freighter, called the Goliath's Tail. She ordered her boarding team to launch. Black pods shot out from Rustok's belly, hurling silent soldiers into the Goliath's midsection. Inside the ship's corridors, Mara's team moved with practice ease. They wore scavenged armor and carried modified rifles. Each soldier knew the plan: seize the bridge, secure the cargo vault, and retrieve the relics. Relics and ruins. In the cargo bay, crates of alien relics lay stacked high, ancient power crystals, rusted weapon prototypes, and strange data slates. Engineers from Cinder 9 moved quickly, downloading data and loading salvage gifts. Grab everything, Mara ordered. These relics mean more than credits. They mean power. Her pilot, Jaro, tapped a data pad. I'm pulling navigation logs. We'll know every pirate route in the system. Retreat through fire. Outside, the convoy's remaining ships tried one last attack. Missiles streamed, but Ash Hawks deployed decoy drones that drew the warheads away. Iron Ravens laid minefields, floating magnetic mines that exploded against pirate hulls. Mara signaled Rustok. All teams aboard. Time to go. Her boarding party raced back to the pods. They launched from the Goliath's hangar as the ship's reactor began to overload. Scavenger charges, they had placed minutes earlier, detonated. The Goliath's tail fractured into glowing fragments, drifting into the void. Victorious return. The armada regrouped outside Black Hollow. Cargo skiffs trailed behind, filled with relics and data.